Hey guys, and welcome back. Game's looking ridiculously sick. Got a lot of new awesome stuff to show you this week. I've got a new enemy type to show you, a change I made to the map mechanic for revealing the hidden rooms that's going to change the way that I design the layouts of the levels. I've got an alternative control scheme that I'm really excited about, and a sneak peek at the second level of the game that I'm currently working on. But before we get to that, I wanted to talk about free will this week, because it's an interesting subject, and I feel as though I have a way of looking at it that I don't hear from other people very often. Oftentimes, most people are like, they either take the completely deterministic point of view, where everything is based on our scientific understanding, right? And the laws of physics, and so from the moment you were born, even before the moment you were born, your life was already predetermined. It was already completely laid out for you, and any concept you might have of having free will or making choices is just an illusion, and you don't really have any control. On the other hand, there are, of course, people who do believe in free will, whether it's for religious reasons or metaphysical reasons or something like that. And I don't know, maybe sometimes people will appeal to like quantum mechanics and uncertainty to try to argue that free will exists, but it's all very sketchy. But the way I look at it is that I want to make the case that you should believe that it really exists, no matter what the real nature of reality or the universe really is. And so my reasoning is like this. Let's take even the most extreme form of free will not existing. Okay, a universe that's completely deterministic. Everything that's going to happen has already been predetermined by the laws of science and so on. So even in this universe, you have to consider that part of what determines the way that we're going to behave is our psychological state of mind. Whether that's influenced by biology or any other number of things, it doesn't really matter. The point is it's part of the determinism, right? So that means a human being who genuinely, really believes that they have free will and that they have this kind of power over their life and the choices that they make, whether it's true or not, whether or not that's even real, it doesn't really matter, because that human being is going to act as if they have that free will, and they're therefore going to be motivated to go after the things that they want to, under the belief that they can do this. Again, whether or not it's actually true isn't relevant. The fact that they merely hold this belief will cause them to go after things in a way that someone who doesn't believe as strongly in their freedom of choice or in their ability to go after whatever they want in life would have. So I think of an example like, suppose you have two students in school who are in every way identical, except for the fact that one of them looks at it like, you know what, I'm going to get 100% on this upcoming test. But the other student says to themselves, well, 100% is not realistic. They know they're not really going to be able to get 100%. And so they think to themselves, but I can probably get like an 80 or a 90 maybe. Now, when these two students go to study, I think you can ask yourself, well, which of them is more likely to do better? And I think naturally it's going to be the one who thinks and who says to themselves, I will get 100%. Not because they necessarily will get 100%, but because they are going to do whatever it takes to get that grade. And they might not get 100%, but they'll do better than the other student does. That's my hypothesis. But of course there is a problem here, which is they get the test back and they didn't get 100%. They did better than the other student, but it's not 100%. And of course, naturally you might think that therefore you're going to be disappointed if you're always thinking this way. But I think the key to understanding this way of looking at the power that you have over your own life is to think that you have that power only within yourself. And you have to humble yourself and understand that the universe or the cosmos or God or whatever, however you prefer personally to label it, can always have other plans. You can even just look at it as there are so many influencing factors externally going on in the world that you can't really guarantee what your outcome is going to be. What you can guarantee is how hard you're going to try to get that outcome. And you just have to have the humility and the understanding that no matter how hard you try, external factors outside of your control, like I said, the universe itself, can simply decide that that's not going to happen today. And so you don't attach yourself to the outcome, you just attach yourself and your whole conception of free will to the idea that you have the ability to work as hard as you want to towards getting a particular outcome. And that is my little philosophical treatise on why I think that regardless of the real nature of the universe, of metaphysics, of physics, whatever, all of these arguments are irrelevant. You have to live your life. If you want to maximize your potential, you have to live your life as if you really genuinely have free will. And the more you can convince yourself to believe that, I think the further along you'll be able to get in life. Where exactly you're going to find the conviction that you really have this belief, because you can't just pretend, of course. It's got to be genuine. It has to be truly real. That part is up to you. For me personally, I do find there to be something suspicious about looking at the universe in a way that's completely deterministic. But I'll save that for next time. Alright, well, let's go check out the game now, and I want to show you guys the sick shit I came up with this week. So the first thing that I'm really excited to talk about is the alternate control scheme I came up with. This all started because from the very beginning I've been developing the game with a controller in mind. Not that that's meant to be the main way of playing the game, but I wanted to make sure that I had that ready in case I decide to port the game to consoles. But there was sort of a problem I was noticing. It's the same kind of issue that you have in first-person shooters, right? Where using a mouse is just so much more accurate and precise than using a controller. So how do I fix that problem? So I came up with this alternate control scheme where instead of having your aim and your movement separate, your aim is tied together with your movement, and the game automatically locks on to enemies as long as you're just moving in their general direction. So this clip that you're watching here is actually me playing through the first level on a controller using this new alternate control scheme. You can see how it just kind of like snaps to the enemies as I move toward them. Then the second thing that I mentioned earlier was the change I made to the map mechanic in the game. So there's this map that you can find somewhere in the level that will reveal the hidden rooms or the indoor rooms in the game so that you can see what's inside of it to make the game a little bit easier for yourself. I came up with this idea of just putting basically like a backdoor to the map room. So as you can see here, there is one way of going to it, which is before you enter into the building. And this is kind of like the not optimal path because you have to go to the map room and then retrace your footsteps to go back down and into the building. But on the other side of the map room, there is another door. And the idea here is it only opens one way. So you have to go through the building and then come around that way if you want to open that door. And so that way you can like go through the whole building, come back around, open that door, and then take out the guys in the map room. And then you've completed the whole level. So with this idea of having these doors that are locked except in one direction, I've been able to come up with a whole bunch of cool alternative level layouts and designs. And finally, the sneak peek at the second level that I promised you. So first of all, it starts off with a new enemy type. And what these guys do is just like how the first enemy type right now just runs at you kamikaze style, these guys do the same thing except that they dash at you instead of running at you. They have a faster reaction time than the other enemy type as well. So the key to beating them when you enter into a room with them is to either take them out first before they can react, or alternatively, you can sort of try to keep space away from them, and then when they dash and they're defenseless for a second, you can go ahead and take them out. But you have to be careful to time it correctly, because if you dash at them at the same time as they're dashing at you, you'll just clash swords with them, and then they'll turn around and finish you off right after that. Of course, it is possible to save yourself with your like one last chance sword swing that you have when you become exhausted. But it's really hard to pull that off, and so I'm probably going to take a little bit of a look at making it more realistic to pull that off. And as for the sneak peek at the second level, well, this is basically the gist of it that you're seeing here. It's only 4 or 5 rooms so far, and just the beginning of a level layout that I had designed in another document, but it gives you a rough idea of what it's looking like. I'm going to start eventually expanding on bigger rooms with different obstacles inside of them and stuff like that, and I do also still need to add a new item type for this level as well. So I'm looking forward to adding that during this week. That's it for this week. As usual, guys, thanks for watching. If you want to support me, you can check out my first game, and if you want updates on the Samurai game, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel here, or alternatively follow me anywhere on social media where I also post regular, almost daily updates. And I guess that's it. I'll see you guys next week. Peace. Could I maybe get somebody who watches this channel to like send me a picture of your face, and then I will tape it to the phone so that I can pretend like I'm talking to an actual person? Because staring into this black hole, it's creepy. Some like Black Mirror shit.